going on? Been a little bit since I made a video. I'm in the process of making another video. I have an Etsy order for this. I'm calling it the Bone Blade, and it it transitions from sword-ish thing, dagger thing to an axe. But that video's coming, but I'm having some trouble with the mechanism. In the meantime, my coworker said that she wanted me to make her boyfriend a knife, and he's Irish, so I'm going to put a clover in the blade. But I googled Irish knives, and what came up, the first thing that came up was a railroad spike knife. So basically, I'm going to start off by cleaning off all the scale and then, or rust, and clamp it like this and heat it up with the oxyacetylene. And we're going to twist the railroad spike to make the handle, and then we're going to blacksmith or forge out the blade from the tip. So that's what we're doing. Alright, I got it all shined up. Now, this line right here signifies where the handle ends and the blade begins. So what I got to do now is clamp it in the vise, heat up this portion, and give it a twist, like the picture that I showed you earlier. Yeah. Alright, there's the twist. It's a little uneven towards the bottom. I'm not going to touch it right now. It's still really hot. But I think I can live with it. Still looks like a railroad spike. And the blade is more or less in line with the little stump portion right there. So I got to let it cool down. I'm not going to quench it because I want to keep the temper as best as I can. And when I squeeze this down, it's going to condense that metal, and it's going to make it a pretty damn good blade. So, pretty sweet. Alright, so I ended up giving it a bit more of a twist. I might twist it a little bit more after I'm done forging out the blade. Right in here, it's a little bit more spaced out than here and here. But, time to start forging out the blade, so. A whole lot more of that. Alright, so I got the blade portion forged out into the general shape or length that I want for the blade. So the rest of this thickness will be ground out, and there'll be a little scoop in here for the blade. So let's get started on grinding. Alright, so I got pretty much the blade done. I put just an angle grinder edge on it, and I shined it up with the wire wheel. I cleaned up this face right here, and the next step is going to be to temper it with motor oil. I just ran around asking a bunch of my neighbors if they had any, but no luck so far. And then temper it, then I will... Oh, you know what? The next step is to put the clover leaf in it. That's the next step, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm getting ready to do the etching, You can see I just kind of freehand drew the cloverleaf on there. I did make this this printout of but it's so tiny that trying to cut it out on the paper over the electrical tape is really difficult. So I just am freehand drawing it on there and then cutting it out with a razor. It's not perfect, but I think with like the wooliness of the etch, it'll make it look better. Plus I'm going to gun blue inside this once it's etched and then sand back, and it'll make it look more defined. So that's what we're doing. Alright, so this is just the pot that I used to collect the salt water from when I did the etching on the bone blade. So it's used salt water. And Michael Cthulhu says that using the used stuff is actually a little bit better. So I'm going to give it a shot. Sacrificial piece of steel on the negative. I got the blade here. I'm going to put that in there like that. And then I'm going to put the positive on the piece. And we hit power. I don't want to use 12 volts like I did on the bone blade. I'm going to use 5 volts at 5 amps. And I'm going to give it about 10 minutes. We'll see how it does. Alright, so I got the clover leaf put in there. Hopefully that's not too bright. And then there's that one. So now the last step is to sharpen the blade on my whetstone sharpening kit. I went ahead and I gun blued this, and then I took sandpaper and like sandpapered over it to bring out the edges of the twist, just like in the picture, and sharpen it, and then it's done. So that is my version of the railroad spike knife. Thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it.